Alright guys, so today we're working on the 1986 Chevy multi-sport road race autocross drift truck. So back in 2014, very second drift event, I wiped the front end off of this thing. It used to have the dual headlights on each side, you know, factory front end, chrome bumper. I'll throw a picture of it up in here somewhere. Looked pretty good. And I was being brave. Second event, felt like things were going pretty good, and I got brave and sent it into the wall. So that's why we have the front end. That's why actually there is nothing in here, because it ruined it all. Used to have inner fenders, had the full core support here, but you know, all in the name of weight reduction. So what we're going to do finally, this thing's been like this. I did have a different kind of setup on there until 2018, and then I kind of updated it with this 1990s square body stuff. But I have not had lights or turn signals in the front of this since then. I mean, I really haven't driven it on the road a ton, and when I do drive on the roads, it's a lot of hand signals, particularly from other people, because they don't know where I'm going. So I've got this steel here that we're going to make a core support. So the core support goes behind and holds all the lights up, kind of directs air through the radiator. Typically does house the radiator, but I'm just going to kind of incorporate what I've got here into that. We've got the sheet metal over there to kind of close stuff off, to force the air in, and that's kind of one of the other problems that I have as well, is with being so open and the hood, it's just like a big old parachute. So I've got a smoothie front bumper that I'm going to put on as well. So I'll just leave this tube stuff behind it and then put this on front, so that'll give me something to mount to. And then under that, the plan is to run a splitter. So it'll come down about that far, and then I've got a big piece of plastic. Can't even remember what this stuff is, but I've had it for 4 years now with the intent to do this. It's like the HPDE, polyurethane kind of stuff. And I'm probably saying HPDE because of the road course stuff. I can't remember. It's HPV? I don't know. Anyway, it's plastic. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna see if we can knock this out, get some actual lights and things mounted, and make this thing more legal, and so I get less hand signals from people who are around me. Anyway, let's get started. All right guys, so first things first, we got to get this temporarily mounted grill taken off. There's a lot of stuff underneath that's got to come off that I have to get out of the way, and then all the new tube, we're gonna cut the perimeter of the core support first. So from fender to fender, it'll actually travel down the fender a little bit and come back in. So these fenders are actually made so they only have 4 bolts, so that if I'm at an event or something and one has to come off real fast, I made it really easy to be able to do that, so I want to retain that ability. But anyway, let's get this thing taken apart. Wouldn't be a drift car if I didn't have something held on with zip ties. And it just so happens the whole side of the grill is. So it's funny, all this was actually mounted like this so I could make it to a 2-day event back in 2018. It was never supposed to stay mounted with just zip ties and all this stuff. Voila! Find somewhere safe to put it. just set it in the bed for now. So you can see this was some laying around. I think this was a piece of 1/4 inch rod that I had left over from the last time I mounted it. But just another piece of 1/4 inch rod, and you can even see where my tack welds are, where this was never supposed to be burning. So I'm excited to get this thing more solidly mounted. Anyway, moving on. If only going together went this fast. Alright, nothing like wide open spaces. Now we'll take some measurements and start mocking up how this thing's gonna fit in there. Alright guys, we're back on another day here in the garage, and it is cold. It's like 25 outside, 30 in here. For reference, ouch, that was my ankle. It is 47.3 degrees in the garage, and that's after using my little flamethrower ankle biter heater. So it is a cold one outside. So yeah, we get to work with the garage door closed. Not tons of room in here, but we're gonna make do with what we got. I am gonna scoot the truck back a little bit more real quick so that we've got some more room. So I've got the truck scooted back a few inches. Might not seem like a bunch, but trust me, if you're ever short even an inch, I don't know what I'm trying to say. And if anybody ever said an inch doesn't matter, they're lying. All right, so we got more space to work. Let me show you what I've got going up on the front. So right now the grill is just mocked up in place. That's just so I can see where it goes in relation to the new kind of support that's going in behind it. I'm gonna make a piece of sheet metal that goes across right there. That is the grill support and all of that. So just threw some painter's tape on the edge so I can get my reference point and that I can make my references off of. And so that's kind of where I've gotten. I've only kind of tacked the top mounts on. I have not, if you look down there at the bottom, I have not built the bottom yet. It's got to come up just a little bit. So I'm gonna do that and show you the update. And there's the dogs whining at me because they're not getting all the attention. Okay, here we are using the table that I built. And I just finished making these brackets, and I don't know why, but it took me longer than Stacy David when he built Wild Horse, up until the point when he put the motor in. Asked me how I know. Anyway, took way too long. So these are the bottom brackets, these are the top. So to line this thing up correctly though, I need to weld the bottom ones in to get the right height, and then I've got to put the top ones in. It's a good thing I didn't weld that though, because this is actually the bottom, this is the top. All right, let's do it. Let's weld it up. Easy enough. Flip it over real quick, tack the back side, and then we'll do the other end. This one's a little more of a pain being on this side. Just need to be able to clamp it. It's almost too small of a table still, but only for bigger stuff, I guess. We'll just have to stretch over here. Squared and ready to go. All right, that's done. They're tacked on there. Now we're gonna go set it in the truck and screw everything up, and then we'll get those two put on there as well. We'll just give them a little snuggie right there, wrap them up all nice and tight. Now we'll get the upper brackets put on there and see how those line up. So these ones, I'm actually going to use the upper bolts. I'm going to bolt the brackets where they're supposed to go. Oh, where'd I put my wrench? There it is. Put the brackets in where they're supposed to go, and then we'll tack it in. There we go. So everything was already all measured out. I knew how it needed to fit. So let's zap it. And that is how you go through a pair of gloves in 30 seconds. That hurt. Usually, I get at least a day out of them. Okay. Tacked up, we're gonna set the grill in there real quick. I'll show you the lights I've got, and then we're gonna measure everything for the backing, and we'll go to there. Ugh. Okay, just use a little clamp. Get it roughly where it goes, and then we'll line up the lines. All right, so what my thought process is here is we're gonna make a piece just of sheet metal that will close this top in, kind of like your normal core support does. And then I haven't decided if it's going to be one piece or it'll probably be two pieces. But we'll have one here, and then there will be a piece behind that will hold the lights, and then it will bolt, there will be another piece. Anyway, you'll see what I'm talking about, but here's the lights we're going to put in this thing. And actually, this one's for the driver's side, or passenger side, I guess driver's side if you're across the pond. So not your normal headlight for these trucks. Well, that's in a bad spot. Not really anywhere else to move it, but anyway, so you can kind of get the, we'll just do this. Burp. So you can kind of get the idea. I'm not sure how far in I'm gonna set it, whether it's up here or back there. So still kind of TBD on that. And then these are just the factory marker lights from like a 88 to 90 Suburban, or the heavy duty square body that was the crew cab. And that's actually what this grill is. So that will go in and sit right about in there. So now what I've got to do is measure for the piece of steel that's going to just fill that in. And I'm going to only go over to about here on the flat part, and then we'll figure out how to fab the curved part back towards the radiator. So anyway, let's I'll measure that and we'll get that cut. All right, let's cut this. Dang, that's nice. All right, set up for the next cut. Perfect. Throw a little clampage on the back. Gotta love it. Now we just test fit it real quick. Make another one. Just like that. Inset in there, only about 1/8 of an inch, right about the radius of the little piece of tube there. Measure it, tack it. Although I gotta figure out how to put it in there so that it's not gonna look tacky, right? That's the challenge. Anyway, let's cut another one. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I think I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna split the difference. We're just gonna go right down the middle. Roughly exactly, you know. So that's about where that's gonna sit. The lights are a little bit of a challenge, and I may have to cut a little bit of a pocket in there so that they can fit, but I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So, and then over here, what I'm thinking, where this is kind of needs to go between the radiator support and this kind of, I'll just call it an enclosure. It's not really a core support, but I'm just gonna put a nice radius on another piece of this stuff. And so it'll just be a nice radius and throw it right into the radiator. So that's the plan. I'm gonna get these tacked in on both sides and then we'll go from there. So here is where we are at now. I actually went ahead and grabbed up a headlight mount, light bar mount / whatever. This grill has been on and off like 57 times already. But now I do have it spaced out down here. Got me a screwdriver and a little clampy guy up in there to hold the grill out on the bottom where it needs to be. And I think now I'm gonna build now that I kind of know where I want my lights and stuff to fit, I'm gonna build this enclosure here at the top. I am gonna hurry and fab this other one up, this other bracket, and I'll set you up to follow along with that, but let's go there. All right, so I got me some little paper that I made a little template out of, and it's actually too small. It needs to be another inch longer, but it's just square. So I'm just gonna draw that out here, and let's do it. Can't have enough of these $1 clamps from the Depot. Man, I keep losing my marker. Where'd it go? Found it. All right, so we're just gonna do this quick outline here. Oh, and see right there, I even just said like a second ago, it needs to be another inch longer. And if anybody ever said an inch doesn't matter, they're lying. Yeah, got my plasma hooked up, got everything ready to go, got my trusty little cutter helmet thingy. It's pretty cool because it's got settings for cut, grind, and weld and stuff on there. And you can adjust the shades so that it's always good for cutting with the plasma. Like butter. Damn it, I did it again. Ugh. What a mess. It's just leaking air from somewhere. I'm not sure where. Oh, well, that'll do it. This push lock fitting, actually, right here, was loose. Hose was almost all the way out. Kept kicking my compressor on, so that's nice. At least that's done. All right, back to work. All right, now we're just gonna clean this guy up real quick with my flapper disky. Run across the top, pretty good. Don't worry about that, I don't use that on my car. This is just for wiping off the grit. I mean, you could use that on your neighbors. I mean, I don't know what I mean. Now we got all these little bendy things. Actually, I have 2 marks that I still need to make for bending. So these little ears fold down just a little bit. That's why I always lose my lid. I guess he's still there somewhere. Square it up, right on the edge, walk. Okay. So this one, this is not a bend. This kind of curls over, and there I drill a couple holes. Anyway, we'll get there. You'll see. You'll see. Actually, it'd probably be easier if I drilled the holes while it was flat. Yeah? Okay. You convinced me. I'm back. Just had to get my stuff for drilling. I don't want to drill holes. Oh, looks like I'm going fishing. Oh, and I need that one right now too. See what I mean? It's nice to have this table, but it is kind of in a cramped area, so stuff gets overrun very quickly. Oh, I should have cut my other piece too. We'll finish this. All right. Ruler. Everybody loves watching people measure things. I know that. A little more roundy. CNC me. Okay, so let's get this thing bent. So the way I did the last one, this is a little tricky because I don't exactly have a bender. I went to go buy one at the Hobo Freight, you know, that China ship place. I found the next worst thing. So it's a pair of pliers that you just torque on it with. So what I have found with these, if you are forced to use them, such as me, that if you put it just above your line, you can at least get it started or get the bend that you want. And this one's not a full 90. This one's like a 45-ish. So anyway, yeah. I'll bend it and you can kind of see what we got here. Actually, I'm going to sink you right down into the action. But you're on a tripod, so it's going to take me just a second. Okay, ready? So I'm just going to grab it right at the, I'm going to put it right over my line and then move it all around and have to check it again. My arm's probably in the way. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm just gonna, okay. Now it's not the best, but for what I'm trying to do, it's not the worst. So now I'm gonna fit this on my light and you can kind of see what I'm getting at here. Okay, you guys, after some technical difficulty and potential user error, we are back up and running. I had some video card issues and microphone issues. You should be able to hear that, but oh man, okay. I think we're good now. Anyways, that being said, this is kind of where I'm at now. So headlights are these guys, and they are mounted and looking fantastic and pretty symmetrical. And yeah, so I've got this tape on here trying to hold the grill a little bit in place. I have these clamps that I've been using, and once this is in here, I can't get the clamps in. So I probably ought to remove those and put the clamps so I can do all this correctly, but I've just been measuring everything to make sure that it fits in the right spot, you know. So this has been my craft project for today, is creating all these cardboard / paperboard templates that are going to be the filler panels. So there are so many here, it looks like I didn't know what I wanted to do, right? Well, that's exactly right. I wasn't sure if I was going to split it in the middle and have 2 big pieces, but what I decided to do is have 3 pieces. So we'll have the driver's wing, a middle, and a left wing. And this is actually going to be filled in right here. So I'll have a little piece here that I'm not sure how it'll attach. It'll probably weld since it won't be bent like that. And these are probably not going to stay like that. My thought now is to have the metal go up over the top and bend here, and then use this bolt to hold it down. So that would look a lot better than having, and these are the radiator hold downs. I think that would look a lot better than showing these through the steel. And then have to do a cutout, obviously, for the radiator field cap right there, but so far so good. So I also have a cool idea. I think I'm gonna ditch these guys for the signal mount. Nothing else is stock on this thing, so why would I use a stock light? So once I get one of those fabbed up and fit in place, I'll show you what that is. But I think it's time to start tracing these cardboard templates out and get those filler panels cut so that I can actually mount the grill, because that's where the grill mounts to. If you've ever worked on these Chevy trucks, the core support normally is a big metal thing that fills in that whole thing. It's got a big piece of, you know, it's a bunch of sheet. But anyway, so that's what I'm building now. Let's get to it. All right, we're gonna try this out. You got a bird's eye view of the workspace. All right, just trying to figure out how to lay these out so I maximize my space. Got to figure out how I'm gonna freehand that. Probably gonna have to use the grinder to cut the curve out because I don't have that good of a hand on the plasma. We'll try it. Maybe we'll try though. I don't know what these are, you guys, but I found them. My kids use them. They're magnetic and they help significantly with holding things in place when you're using this thin board like that. So that's what I'm going to use to hold it in place while I trace it. Bam. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. I don't, but fake it till you make it. Here we go. Oh, you know what? If you see here, it says add 1 inch to the end. So that is for the overlap, and that is 1 inch. So I just need to make sure that I have that correct. Probably see all my earwax sitting up there like this. Ooh, not too bad if I don't say so myself. That was nearly right there. So I'm squaring this end. I guess it doesn't matter. This is going to be going underneath, so ultimately it doesn't matter which end I square. Okay, trace it. Here's time to finish. So I did draw that just a skosh big so that any trimming I need to do, I can do with my flapper disc to get the fit just right. So there's one. I'll cut that one out first, and then we'll come back and find out where we're going to cut this one out. Probably should have done that different, but oh well. I did bend off the end of that a little bit. I can just tappy it. Sometimes I wonder where my brain is. There we go. All right, now I got to figure out how to, you know, I probably should have cut that first one first. Yeah, where is my brain? Holy shnikes. I think I wanted to get rid of this off the table, is why I did that. But it does make things a bit more challenging, but we'll make it through. We will persevere. So, I mean, it's not a straight thing. And I really don't want to use the grinder. So what I may do is do a couple of them. And then reposition and then finish it off with the flapper. I like that idea. Let's do that. So I'll pull till there and then we'll readjust. Good plan? I don't know. Okay, update. Or not, or the battery's gonna die. I think the battery's gonna die, so I'll be back. All right, battery fixed. So you can see I made some progress. Got the middle panel in. Everything fits pretty good. Got this cut out. So now I did change plan just a little. So instead of bending this over the back because I was having such a challenge bending, it's just going to end like that. I think it'll be fine. I mean, the only time you're going to notice this is if you're clear back over here, which maybe people will. I don't know. It's me looking at it. It's me that cares. So now what I have to do is these two mounts that are right here, I have to drill these holes. So rather than trying to measure and get everything perfect, I'm gonna make me some transfer punches. Now the trouble with a lot of those transfer punches that I've seen, well, my number one problem is the fact that I don't even have them. Ooh, that's a dirty lens. I'm just now seeing this for the first time. Hang on. That's better. That might be less milky. I don't know. Okay, anyway. So transfer punches, the ones I've seen, and I've looked up and down trying to find stuff today, they're just not long enough, and I need them to be at the height that is so that they drill in the right place, because if this is sitting down, and anyway, it can end up being in the entirely wrong place. So I'm gonna make something real quick just out of a couple bolts. That's probably, well, if we're talking cost, it probably costs the same amount as one of those Amazon kits that you would buy, just because it's 2 bolts and metal's expensive and Chinesium is not. So let me set this up, quit the Rambletron here, and we'll get this thing. I'll show you how I'm going to make these. All right, so first what I've got is just the 5/16 by 18 bolt. So first we're just going to cut the head off. So let's do that. Safety first, or third, or whenever you think about it, whatever. That's up to you. Okay, so you'll notice it kind of moved a little bit, but I'm trying not to ding up the threads. So successful cut though. Let's cut the other one. Okay, now you might be asking, well, how are we going to use those as transfer punches? Well, I'll show you. It's my secret hideaway grinder down there. Where's my drill? Is it hiding? Where's my drill? I have this one. It's not the one I was looking for, but it'll do the job. Okay, so I'm just gonna chuck it in here. Bammo. And then, I always like to do this. Maybe you don't, maybe you do. But just give it a little test fire, get it up to speed. Make sure that's not gonna fly apart on you. But then, I'm just gonna run that thing to a point. Almost there. Beauty. You can see very nearly centered, if not perfectly centered. Also good. Might be a little bit more of a point than the other one, but doesn't really matter as long as it's in the middle. Okay, now let's come over here. Oh, save some power. Let's come over here, thread these in, and see if we can transfer this stuff. Okay, just ran a nut up the body of it, so I'm sure there's a innuendous kind of joke in there, but I don't know any of those. Well, that might be too far. It might be too deep. I don't know. A little more, because this one's a little taller. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, now I can take my little piece that I just made here, kind of get it in place, make sure that I don't bang around too much. Get it all kind of lined up. Actually, I am going to do one bit of measuring on this. You know, it looks like the lines are okay. So that's what I'm going to use. Okay, make sure it's good. Side to side. All my lines. Oh, that moved a little bit. Oh yeah, that's gonna look good. Okay, grab my soft hammer. Don't want to dent the front. I think it's somewhere in here. Should have measured that maybe. Oh yeah, worked like a charm. Let's get this drilled and see how she pans out. Okay, got the holes drilled. Everything looks good that way. Got my hardware. Let's pull these punches out and see how she fits. Alright, so set on my radiator hold downs. And then slap this thing on here. Ooh, it's looking promising. I knew it all along though. I mean, shoot. I knew it would fit. Took a minute to make those punches, but I think it was worth it to make sure that this thing got set right where it needed to sit. Now the good thing about that is I have something super solid. Got lost mid-sentence there. Okay, so there is a little bit of a bendy issue there, but solid. Radiator's not going anywhere. All that's covered. My cap here has just enough room. Bam. I'm gonna call that a win. So I do need to fix this bendy. So, but I think when I bolt it down, it'll be just fine and it'll sit where it needs to sit. So, sweet. All right, so you can see the custom bracket that I had to make over here. But all the holes are drilled, everything looks pretty good. I had to make that custom bracket because a long time ago I cut that off dumbly. Not thinking about later, but anyway, here we go. Let's throw some screws in it so you can see just how nice this looks. And I did take the time to thread these. So this is just like, I don't know, 045. I don't know. It's not very thick metal in the name of trying to keep it lightweight. And I realized if you were going really lightweight, you would get the aluminum. But I don't have that kind of money yet. Not for all this. And more importantly, I don't have a TIG welder. So I wanted some stuff that I could weld together instead of having to put a bracket or something, you know, and pop rivet everything. Which is possible, but not the route. Oh no. Back up. Time out. Time out. I forgot one thing. So I got super excited because this panel was just sitting there, but I drilled the top hole just to line the hole and the panel up. So I gotta remount that guy real quick. Nice thing is when they're that big of a panel, all you gotta put it in anywhere. Burp. Clean up the back. Oh, didn't clean that one up. There we go. Cleany. Wow. How's less birds on it? Get that out of the way. Oh yes, much better. And these ones unfortunately need washers, and I could shorten these. I don't want to drill all the way through the bar underneath. I don't know, maybe I should. But there's a piece of sheet under there. This is a sheet piece. Lots of hardware, and I picked up these cool little stainless button heads on the Amazon. Everybody loves to hate, but loves them. Let's see, I need one more. So these front ones, I do have to, because this is just plastic, I do have to put nuts on the back of them. So it's kind of a pain, but not terrible. So we'll just go ahead and tighten these up. Like I said, you put a little bit of torque on them, but not a ton. And I'll probably throw some blue Loctite on there just to keep it solid. Make sure it doesn't move when I'm vibrating down the road. But yeah, all it's got to do is hold that panel up and sweet, right? Cool. I don't know, I'm pretty proud of it. That's probably the most sheet metal work that I've done. I'll give you the slow pan here. Ever. So that's the most sheet metal work I've done ever as far as bending and cutting and all. That's not true. It's just been, maybe it's been a while. I'm old and I'm starting to forget things, but it's really slick too, because I really feel like it sets off the engine bay a lot more than it used to. So as much as that sheet metal looks good, once I get it painted, it kind of shows off the engine a little more. Makes it a little more homey in there. Anyway, more holes to drill. Still got to finish these ones on this side. Get those two done. I still have to make the bracket that goes underneath. Then it'll get into the paint process. I've still got to do the brackets for down low, and then there's one down low there's a little hole down here that I've got to figure out how to fill that guy. So I still have to build the turn signal bracket plate thing that I'm going to build, so I'll probably just put it in there on that. So more to come yet. Hopefully this isn't going to be too long. I'm not sure how many videos or how many clips I've taken. I've done a lot, it feels like. I don't know, maybe it doesn't seem like a lot, but it feels like a lot. Oh, and then I still have to mount that front roll pan on there as well. So that yet to do. These front end things seem like they take a long time. All right, got the bracket made. It's all installed there, figured that out. Just moved it over a little bit. It wasn't as big a deal as I thought. It's just tight in here to get a screwdriver and stuff in, and I don't want to bugger that up any more than it is. But I haven't test fit this yet, so we're about to see together. And I don't know, that's about as far off as you can be. That's awesome. Well guys, I screwed up. I don't know what I did, but when I measured twice. I measured 3 times. Cut once, but that's all it takes. So I didn't want to have to remake that bracket, but so I think the easiest way to do that is to hit it again. All right, got that one fit in. I'll tell you what, that was harder than, it was hard. I don't know why, but it was ridiculous to get this bolt here lined up. But I got it. I measured. I think somebody was in here moving it around as I was. Anyways. So last hole drilled. Now I just got to pull the panel off. Probably 18 more times, and then it might be fitted. I don't know. Oh, I got something really cool that just came in the mail. I'm kind of excited about these. So they're OMP. As you can see, I don't have any hood latching stuff. So that's probably when these things are going to come back on and off a gazillion more times. But they're cool. They've got little Allen head bolts instead of the typical flathead stuff, or I don't know, Phillips stuff. Anyways, so those will look really good on there. I'm excited about those. So this, I'm going to do like this. I do not have one of the die holders. I got this as a kit at the Depot. So, and then I got to put it on an angle. I could take the fender off, but I don't want to. When you put these in, you want to make sure you get them as crooked as possible so that when your bolt goes in, it totally strips everything out because it hits crooked. Galled threads is just nature's own Loctite. Anyway, voila. Open up this last hole a little bit. Forgot, gotta clean it up. Get most of the burrs off of it. There we go. Oh, I'm so tired of drilling holes for bolts on this stuff, you know? Put this, see that? See how that snugs right up in there? Whoa, so good. So, anyway, I think job decently well done. Oh, I need to loosen those bolts up and swing that forward just a little bit. But, hi-ya.
This has been the episode for audio issues, microphone issues, what have you. So here I'm going to talk through the last little bit of this video and hopefully get you through it and we get on to the next one. So here we're looking at the bumper and what I had to rip off to get the lower row pan to fit. And when I say rip it off, I literally mean I broke it off with my wrench and with a crescent wrench and my hands. You can see by the weld quality, it was on there, you know, really well in a couple like pinhole spots. So if you want your welds to look like that, weld upside down in the dark with your eyes closed, very low heat, very low wire speed, and just kind of popcorn it on there. While not great for strength, when it comes time to remove it, it comes right off. As with all fabrication, you got to pull things apart 100 times and put them back together. So here we're taking the grill off so we can get ready for the bumper. So just cleaning things up. And here's the abrasive wheel that I like to use when I'm taking paint. But here, anything is a tool. I needed something that would hold the bumper up, so I found a tire, holds it up perfectly, throw a clamp in the middle, and voila. Here's a quick shot of the bracket that I used to mount the middle of the bumper. Just welded it, tack welded it there. A couple of 1/4 stainless button heads that I showed earlier. Did the job perfectly. All right, here we go, mocking up the passenger side mount. I do it as we go so that I can get the fit exactly like I want. Again, with fabrication, pulling it off and putting it on 100 times so I can drill holes and make sure everything fits where I want it. So we're drilling the bumper with the step bits. I like to do a little cleanup drill, so that's what that was on that side. Throw it back on there, check the fit, check, make sure it's level, and once again with the tire, it serves as a chair, so multi-purpose. Throwing the grill back on, again, check the fit of everything, and we are good to go.
All right, guys, next day, again, you can tell because I'm wearing different clothes, and also you'd think there'd be so many things crossed off. Nothing's crossed off. And the best part of everything is all the stuff that I did yesterday, so you're not even gonna know that it was yesterday because you're not gonna be able to hear any of it. Totally avoidable audio situation. Make sure your plugs are plugged in to the right ports. Okay, if you're gonna film, you probably did. I mean, you probably already have, but I forgot. All right, you guys, so I didn't get really any of that list done at all, but what I did do was get the hood taken off because I don't have hood pins yet so that I can go take this thing to the gas station. So we are gonna go for a cruise. Front end turned out pretty good. Anyway, we're gonna go for a drive.
Thanks everyone for watching. You made it through the longest video I've made yet. Don't forget to like and subscribe and watch out for the next one. We're going to get on a more regular cadence, but until then, thanks, and we'll see you next time.